as part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create a platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this hugely growing community in the United Kingdom, our channel, Ben TV, presents to you another live current affairs television program. Our focus on the program is to review and discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. All right, thank you for joining us, and it's still Dialogue in Diaspora coming to you live from Ben Television. We are now going to Kenya. I'm joined by Helen Mbaria. Helen Mbaria is a Kenya analyst, and we'll be talking about the just concluded election in Kenya, the 2017 election that saw Mr. President Uhuru Kenyatta returned as the president of Kenya. Helen, thank you for joining us on the program today.
Thank you for having me.
Helen, quickly, give us an assessment of give us an overview of the election that happened in Kenya.
Everybody was watching, unfortunately, because of the 2007-2008 post-election violence that happened in Kenya. Mind you, Kenya is known to be the backbone of East Africa. It's also pride of Africa, so everybody watches. But because of the 2007-2008 post-elections, everybody was
violence.
There. That happened. Everybody wanted to know what's going to happen, and also because Raila took a bold step of contesting, lots of changes happened. So Kenyans wanted to see the new changes that were implemented, if they're going to work. It was the first time they used the electoral system, so really much was at stake here. But however, the IEBC, which was the first time they used this system, outdone itself. The tallying was done live on TVs. Everybody and anybody would wake up and see what's going on. So I personally would think the system was quite transparent. The results were, in my opinion, credible, and also very, very fast. Normally people would queue for long hours and you'd take a whole day, but people reported to be a very short, people queued for shorter times, and the process itself, you would go there, few questions were asked, and because it was an electronic system, it was very fast, and you would go, do your business, vote and go. So before, when they used paper, people didn't have much faith in the system itself, leave alone the tallying, but the voting system in itself. This time, everything was made simpler, even for the voters. And so for me, it was made easier for both sides, the voters and the people doing the tallying.
But the Raila Odinga and some of his key supporters have said there was rigging, that the election was rigged to favor Uhuru Kenyatta.
Honorable Raila Odinga anticipated rigging before the election took part.
Anticipate rigging?
Yes. So
why would they?
Because in Africa in general and in Kenya, it's been said that rigging is taking part. Before 2007, it was said that previous President Moi rigged in his elections, and because it's almost said to be a norm, is anticipated. Honorable Raila Odinga is vyed for presidency 4 times, and in every election he's said that, they've legged in every election. So before this happened, he anticipated this. And even after, he came and said it happened. However, he's not come with any tangible or credible evidence to support his claims. So he said before it happened, he said during, and he said after. But there's no evidence that he's come forth with to support his claims.
Would that account for some of the protests, post-election protests that saw even somebody shot, about 4 people killed by the police.
To be
Could
fair,
that account for it?
yep. It was quite a crossline in his. To be fair, he's supported by a lot of people. He has a big group that support him, and the president, Uhuru, has got a big supporting group as well. So the fact that it's such a cross run and it's very cross, it's very easy for people not to know what way it's going to go, and for him to say yes, I was supposed to win. And there's some people who are going to believe, because when you see when he was campaigning, there was massive groups that would come out and support him, and people who would look at that and say yes, according to his campaigns, the way he ran his campaigns and the amount of people that turned out to support him, you'd think, yeah, he could have won. And because unfortunately Kenyan politics really are divided within the ethnic groups, there's some groups who would do anything for Honorable Raila. So if he comes out and say, I was supposed to win and I've been unfairly denied my right to be the 5th president of Kenya, people will be upset and feel the right to go out and protest. And the police who think, no, we can't have a repeat of 2007, 2008, feel like their guard should be up and stop it before it goes any further. Yeah, and unfortunately, people have lost lives.
But as it stands at the moment, with Uhuru taking charge again as a president, and Raila not taking this defeat at all, are we likely to see a repeat of 2007, 2008?
I think 2007, 2008 is 10 years ago now, but people...
And Kenya has moved on from that, you sure?
Kenya has not moved on. Kenya has forgiven what happened, not forgotten. And I don't think for a long time we will move on from that, because we sacrificed quite a bit. And good came out of it. The fact that now we're able to say that elections are free and fair. I would say this election was free and fair. Some people would say it wasn't. But because of it...
Actually, the election has been adjudged both by international observer, the UN observer, ECOWAS observer, and, well, most observers that witnessed the election said it was fair enough, at least for African standard, and it was free.
Yes. Non-government electoral groups that run parallel with the IBC came substantially close or same with the IBC tally results. So, or people that predicted, because as I said, because of how the Kenyan political groups, or because of how they're divided within the ethnic groups, it's very easy to predict what way the results are going to fall. People that predicted, or people that ran parallel to the IBC tallying within the polling station came to almost the same conclusions as the IBC. So yeah, it's almost fair to say they were run transparently, fairly, maybe. But so for that reason, but this only happened because of Raila challenging in 2007, 2008. And unfortunately, lives were lost and people were displaced. But because of that, people will not move on. And I think it's good if people don't move on, because then there won't be a repeat of it. So, but I don't think we will ever go there, mainly because it's still fresh in people's minds, in people's memory. It's still in the current generation. It's only 10 years ago. And before every election, religious leaders, political leaders, and any person who has a platform to preach peace takes the opportunity to let people know Kenya is bigger than politics. Kenya is bigger than the political leaders. And their political leaders never fight. Their children go to school together. The children go out and socialize together. So the common Kenyan citizen should not go out and lose their life over the political leaders. And I think that has got to
That
majority, to the most of Kenyans. So I don't think 207, 208.
A repeat of that at all.
No.
But quickly, as it stands, do we see a situation where Raila Odinga will approach the courts, the election tribunal?
Raila Odinga has said himself that he has gone through that channel. It is the constitution mandates right. He has that right, and that the constitution mandates him to follow that channel. But he says he's followed that channel before, and he's gone nowhere. However, that's the only channel he should follow, and it's upon the courts to make a decision. I don't think inciting people or asking people to take a different way is not right, it's not fair, and it's, again, illegal.
So I haven't said the father, okay, guess what? Because I've gone through this idea of election tribunal in the past, it's always handled the same way. Does it mean he's not going to challenge this election in the courts? He may not, or he may.
That's up to Honorable Raila to decide. He might, but he himself knows, and he has written to the IBC. IBC has acknowledged. However, because of the way IBC ran its election this time, he had to have had agents at every polling station who signed off every vote that was cast. So he does not have, in my opinion, enough evidence to take to the courts. And I think that's the only reason he's not taking it to the courts. Otherwise, why would you not take the institution mandate channel? If you have got enough substantial evidence, one, you would have played it enough in the media, social media, and then taken it to court. But he's written to the IEBC. IEBC has released some of the communications he's had between him and the NASA party, and they have acknowledged, well, your agents were there when all this was cast, when all this was signed off. So where is the dispute? So because of how transparently it was run, or how systematically it was run, I feel they lack evidence to actually challenge this particular election process.
All right, if you're watching this program, we are in Kenya. We're taking a look at the just concluded elections in Kenya, where the incumbent President Uhuru Kenyatta, won that election again, and is arch rival Raila Odinga has been contesting that election. Post that election, there was a protest, and about 4 people were killed in that protest. And we're now joined by Ellen, who has been giving us critical breakdown of what has happened, what is happening, and what is likely to happen in Kenya. And of course, she's told us here on the program today that from every available information getting to us, every available resource has been said that the election is quite transparent and fairly credible, and some elements of sincerity in that election. And we're still looking at what is going on and what is probably going to happen. And so she's also told us here on the show that the 2007-2008 incident is still very fresh in the minds of every Kenya, and that Kenya is bigger than any political figure in that country. But we're still on. If you do have any information around the just concluded election in Kenya, you can join us on the program, and the number to call is going to be put on the screen. Or if you think you want to contribute to the show, you want to tell us some things about the election in Kenya or Kenya itself, you can join us on the show, and the number to call is put on the screen. Ellen, it is no news that Kenya is strongly a tribal nation, and sometimes elections are executed on a tribal line, and that 2 of the strongest tribal communities are managed or controlled by Uhuru Kenyatta. probably, I'm not sure, but tell us more about what role tribes play in Kenya election.
Unfortunately, that's so true. Kenya politics and tribe run hand in hand, and to some extent now religion is playing a bit of a part too. And I wish there was a cure for this horrible disease, because it really is horrible, and it's cost lives in my country. But it goes back in generations, but it has not always been like this, because previous elections, Kikuyu, which is strong when it comes to politics, we've had 4 presidents since we gained our independence, and 3 of those presidents have been Kikuyus, and 1 has been Kalenjin. And but previously we've had 2 Kikuyus running for presidency, so it's not always been like this. However, now the Kikuyus, Uhuru Kenyatta is a Kikuyu, for those that do not know, and Raila Odinga is a Luo, who are very political too. The Kalenjin also are political. They also make a majority of the Kenya population. So Kikuyus and the Kalenjin have merged because Uhuru Kenyatta, Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, running mate is Honorable Samoei Ruto, and so them merging
From the other tribe?
From the Kalenjin. So them merging and making a team.
The Kikuyus and the Kalenjin merged.
So they now merge their tribes too.
Votes.
So now them merging the teams means they have a lot of influence in the respectable tribes too. And that's why it's, for me, for Honorable Raila to say he won, the numbers do not add up, because the influence the 2 gentlemen have in their tribal respective tribes makes quite the majority. And even if you look at the numbers of governors, the numbers of senators, the numbers of MPs, they come from the party of Honorable Uhuru Kenyatta, the Jubilee party. So the numbers do not match the Honorable Raila's party, which is NASA. So really, it goes to emphasize on the point you're making, that politics and tribe have really married, and it's not a good marriage in the big picture.
That seems to, tribes and religion seems to be playing some critical role in African elections. But should competence, integrity be sacrificed on the altar of tribal influence? Should tribe determine who does what for the country?
Unfortunately, no. And I think these elections have tried to move past that. Apart from the presidential platform, all the other seats, when it comes to the governor seat, the senator and the MP, I think the common Kenyan citizen has seen past that, has seen past the badge of a certain tribe, has seen past the certain names. If you look at Honorable Kenyatta, he's the son of our first president. Honorable Raila Odinga, he's the son of our first vice president. So they're still the same names, the same.
Still the same political class.
Yes, the same class, the same people.
That's being in charge of Kenya from independence.
Yes, and but now people are really seeing past this, and people are seeing people for who you are, what you can do, what you have done. So they're seeing past the badge you're wearing, the name you're wearing. So if you're a Raila, you're a Uhuru, but what can you do for me? What can you do for my child?
But that seems not to have been the case.
as I've said, not on the presidential level. The president seems to be rotating on the generations. However, when it comes to the governors, the senators and the MPs, we have seen names that have never been in politics before. They've elected young leaders. Normally it was the same old gentlemen that have been there for years. They have been sent back in these elections. We've seen new people that have not been in politics. We have seen new names. We have seen very, very different people that have come from different platforms, people that have given a good campaigns, people that have written good manifestos, people that can deliver. So people have now started seeing through past everything, and they want credibility, they want people that they can hold accountable. So it's been a good election, I can say, when it comes to changing and shuffling.
Awesome. Helen, it's been a pleasure to have you join us on the program. I've been talking with Helen Mbaria on the program today. Helen, thank you so much for joining us on the show. I'm wondering if I've got a call. Do I have a call coming in through the studio? No. All right, I've got no call. I thought I had a call coming in. Helen Mbaria, thank you so much for joining us on the show.
Thank you.
And it's been a pleasure that you have shared your opinion and thought with us on the show. Awesome. Awesome opinion shared with us.
It was
Thanks a lot. We hope we will be able to bring you back to share with us again your thoughts on Eastern Africa and Kenya, generally beyond Kenya.
Thank you very much.
We're going on a short break now, and I can bring in my guest for a few minutes before we cross over to our newsroom. Don't go away.
And discuss issues around the diaspora community in the UK. The program offers you that unrestricted voice on issues affecting you in the UK. Join us live every Monday at 10 a.m. to 12 noon. As part of our continued efforts to reach the African and other ethnic communities in the United Kingdom with greater impacts and create the platform to hear your silent and unheard views in this huge